The story begins with an exciting match between sisters Natasha and Yelena in Ohio in 1995. As they hang upside down, Natasha bets Yelena will fall first, which she does, resulting in tears and a soothing kiss from their mother, Melina. Amid the joy and family banter about Forest stars and mac and cheese, Alexei's entrance brings a sense of urgency. The family's evening takes a surprising turn when Alexei suggests an upcoming adventure, persuading the girls to leave without shoes or meals. Despite Yelena's objections and Melina's muttered apologies, they hurry out, abandoning their everyday lives for a mission cloaked in mystery, defined by the clattering of gunfire and the urgency in their parents' words. This marks the start of a journey that will permanently intertwine the two young girls' lives with the secretive world of espionage and courage. Melina's urgency is obvious as she guides her girls, Natasha and Yelena, on a perilous flight for survival. With Alexei's assurances falling short, Natasha discovers Melina's blood and is forced to take over as co-pilot. Mother and daughter negotiate the mayhem together, counting down the knots as they pull back on the throttle amid gunfire and screeching tires, a monument to their tenacity and the bond that will sustain them through the hardships that lie ahead. This thrilling action foreshadows the amazing lives that these two girls will lead, distinguished by heroism and echoes of a childhood song that will reverberate long after the danger is gone. In Cuba, the tension is evident as the family's facade collapses. Yelena, holding to her mother's teachings, encourages Melina to rise and embody the strength she has been taught. Alexei, the Red Guardian, longs for his former greatness, while Natasha, in a painful confession, seeks her mother's comfort. The situation is a tumultuous mix of personal appeals and icy instructions, with Dreykov's presence signaling a turning point. Natasha passionately guards Yelena, and their world narrows to the Red Room, a point of no return. The setting of Smells Like Teen Spirit emphasizes the loss of innocence and the harsh realities of their lives as spies. It's been nearly 21 years, and the consequences of their previous deeds have caught up. Natasha Romanoff, now a fugitive, faces Thaddeus Ross, who intends to make an example of her. Despite Ross's warnings, Natasha stays stubborn, hinting at her complicated past and the many lives she has lived. The call concludes with an ominous splash, leaving Natasha's destiny undetermined and the story unfinished, a monument to her fortitude and the shadows that follow her. Yelena's mission takes a turn as her target escapes on Morocco's busy streets, causing a chase. The incident swiftly escalates into a conflict that shakes Yelena with her unintended repercussions. In Norway, Natasha balances false identities and her background while on the run. Her encounter with Rick Mason shows her practicality and fragility, hinting of her Avenger's past. Natasha and Yelena are tense. Distrust and unsaid questions lead to a fight upon their reunion, highlighting their fragile relationship. The sisters must decide whether to face their demons together or alone as they struggle with their history and uncertain future. This glimpse of their life shows two strong women tied by blood and battle navigating a perilous and unpredictable world. The action continues with Natasha and Yelena engaged in a tense confrontation in Budapest, their background as trained assassins catching up to them. As they approach one another, their talk reveals a major conflict, the presence of the Red Room and Dreykov's fate. Yelena, who has given Natasha a synthetic gas that acts as an antidote to mind control, is determined to persuade her sister that the Red Room is still operational and that Dreykov may be alive. Their debate is cut short by an attack, forcing them to flee on a motorcycle through confusion and gunfire. As they navigate the perilous streets, their sisterhood is tested by both imminent danger and the weight of their common history. The sequence concludes on a cliffhanger, leaving their fate undetermined and the mystery of the Red Room unsolved. This action-packed sequence prepares the audience for a deeper understanding of their characters and the dark environment they must navigate. Natasha and Yelena hide away in a secure place, coping with the intricacies of their past and the harsh realities of their current situation. Yelena discloses the extent of Dreykov's manipulation, his capacity to control the widows, and the availability of a counteragent capable of releasing them from his grip. The conversation becomes more personal as they discuss their sentiments of abandonment and the roles they've played in each other's lives. Despite the banter and fighting, there is a sense of urgency and a shared purpose to stop Dreykov's reign and save other youngsters from experiencing the same fate as they did. As they manage their fragile relationship, they are united by a similar goal: to deconstruct the Red Room and save those who remain locked in the shadows of their past. Natasha and Yelena discuss their past and their unknown family, changing the story. Their conversation shows a genuine desire for normalcy, with Yelena wanting a dog. Natasha invites Yelena to help her defeat Dreykov in the Red Room. Despite the challenge, they're united and determined. Rick Mason's logistical concerns bring actuality to their practical issues. The conversation conveys their relationship with comedy and suspense, laying the stage for their next action. Alexei, the Red Guardian, brags about his prior accomplishments and wants attention as the story progresses. His grandiose tales contrast with Natasha and Yelena's more grounded challenges, showing a man imprisoned in his own reputation. Personal introspection, mission planning, and character development drive the plot as each character struggles with their own goals and duties, setting the stage for future acts. Natasha and Yelena plan a daring and chaotic escape for Alexei, the Red Guardian, from a high-security jail. Despite the pandemonium and screaming alarms, they manage to retrieve Alexei, who is both perplexed and exhilarated by the situation. The reunion is uncomfortable, with Yelena and Natasha questioning Alexei about the Red Room's location, only to be met with his ignorance and deflective humor. The sequence combines tremendous action and emotional confrontation, emphasizing the complicated dynamics between two characters who have a terrible background. As they navigate their escape and unresolved concerns, the plot moves forward, leaving us wondering what their next move will be in their goal to bring down the Red Room. A heated exchange between Natasha and Alexei, who reflects on his time as the Soviet Union's great soldier and his subsequent fall from glory. His resentment towards General Dreykov is palpable, as he blames him for his imprisonment and loss of position. Yelena's humor breaks through the tension, suggesting that they evacuate Alexei from their plane. The intrigue intensifies when Alexei discloses that Melina, who is assumed dead, is still alive and probably working with Dreykov. As they travel to confront Melina, Alexei's attempts at reconciliation are met with hostility from Natasha and Yelena, who are haunted by their assassination histories. Their arrival at Melina's farm, where domestic serenity conceals underlying perils, where the tension between past and present roles is palpable. Melina and Alexei's banter about their staged marriage and current appearances adds a touch of humor to the otherwise strained reunion. Natasha's frustration with her family is evident as she tries to steer the conversation towards their mission, only to be met with parental chiding and distractions. The revelation of Melina's work on mind control and the demonstration with the pig named Alexei underscores the chilling reality of Dreykov's power. As they grapple with the implications of this control, the group is forced to confront the daunting task ahead, taking down Dreykov and freeing the agents under his command. The scene sets a dark tone for the challenges they face, with the stakes higher than ever. The story intensifies as the characters grapple with the weight of their shared history. Yelena confronts Melina about the agents subjected to chemical subjugation, revealing her own painful experience as one of them. Alexei's attempts to justify his past actions are met with Natasha's scorn, who declares their family facade as nothing to hold on to. The emotional turmoil peaks when Yelena expresses her sense of betrayal, feeling that the only real family she knew was based on a lie. As Natasha resolves to confront Dreykov alone, Melina reveals a harrowing truth about Natasha's past and the fate of her biological mother, adding layers to Natasha's already complex character. Melina's confession about alerting the Red Room sets a dire tone, indicating imminent danger. Alexei's anecdote about ice fishing seems out of place amidst the tension, but it hints at a deeper significance, perhaps a metaphor for the precarious situation they find themselves in or a reflection on his own life's journey. The narrative is poised on a knife edge, with each character's next move carrying the potential for dramatic consequences. In a thrilling turn of events, the characters face their deepest feelings and the harsh facts of their past. Alexei's attempt to connect with Yelena through a childhood narrative is received with a deep outpouring of pain, as she feels neglected and manipulated. The tension rises as they are apprehended and taken to Dreykov, who discloses his ultimate scheme to control an Avenger. Amidst this, Alexei's genuine confession over the intercom, revealing his cowardice and regret, gives depth to the building drama. Melina's admission that she was in control all along, directing Yelena to a hidden weapon, turns the narrative to one of optimism and potential escape. The plot is a complicated tapestry of treachery, deceit, and the quest for redemption, with each character's actions adding richness to their shared history and unique paths. In the final part of their traumatic trip, the characters confront Dreykov, the genius behind the Red Room. Natasha's determination to destroy Dreykov's reign is met with his arrogant revelations about her background and the scope of his power, including a phenomenal lock that prohibits her from injuring him. The tension is apparent as each character takes their turn in the complicated dance of deception and truth, with Yelena and Alexei fighting their own fights against the society that shaped them. As the scheme progresses, Melina's betrayal and Dreykov's arrogance set the setting for a clash that will decide the fate of the widows under his command, as well as the legacy of the family that was never actually genuine. The story concludes with a demonstration of the human spirit's resilience in the face of power and control tactics. The story ends in a ferocious battle between Natasha and Dreykov, the mastermind behind the Red Room. Natasha's determination to put an end to Dreykov's deception is met with his hubris and false sense of grandeur. As the conflict continues, Yelena and Melina face their own challenges, with Melina initiating a controlled crash of the facility. In the midst of chaos and conflict, Natasha fights not only for her own freedom, but also for the liberty of everyone under Dreykov's authority. The story culminates with Natasha's personal win over Dreykov, which represents her triumph over the past that strove to define her. In the end, it's a story of empowerment and choice, as each character emerges from the shadows to establish their own path. In the climatic end of Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff and Yelena Belova battle Dreykov, the mastermind behind the Red Room. As the conflict escalates, Natasha implores Yelena not to sacrifice herself, resulting in a tense standoff. In the aftermath, the sisters reunite and acknowledge the realities of their shared past. When the authorities arrive, Natasha insists that her newfound family flee while she remains behind, foreshadowing at her future attempts to rejoin with the Avengers. The epilogue turns to Yelena visiting Natasha's grave, where she meets Valentina, who exploits her grief by promising her a chance at vengeance against Clint Barton, laying the groundwork for Yelena's future chapter in the MCU.